Hi Flosstube, I'm Sarah, Cross Stitch Sarah, here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Today is Sunday the 1st of September already, so it's very autumnal here in the Peak District, very gloomy. Don't think it's raining at the moment, but it's not particularly warm, bit of a grey old day. And I'm here today with my Flosstube number 8, and this is August update. So everything that I've been doing in August, I've got some finishes, new starts, whip go numbers, whips, haul, happy mail, a little bit of a life update, plans. So lots and lots to talk to you about today. Hope you're all well and having a bit of a stitchy day yourselves, whatever your weather is like wherever you are. Just wanted to start with a couple of shout outs for new YouTubers, Flosstubers. So the first one is Stuart's in Stitches, and obviously I'll link both of these. There's two, and I'll link them both below. So Stuart's in Stitches is Stuart up in Scotland. I think he said near Edinburgh or between Glasgow and Edinburgh. So he's got one video out at the moment. Showed a lovely range of whips, and apparently he's got a cupboard full of whip bags that contain things he's not sure what's inside. So that's going to be fun over the next few weeks or months that he hopefully shows us what he's got in his whip bag cupboard. And also Jess of Cross Stitch Jess. So I did notice that yesterday she'd uploaded her second Flosstube, which I haven't watched yet, but I did watch her first one. Yeah, also lovely whips, really, yeah, just great presents. Loved watching her too. So go and check those out, Stuart and Jess, and like I say, I'll link them both below. Okay, so I've got 3 finishes. Well, one of them was a start and finish within August, which is, I didn't even realise till I was making my notes for today. So start and finish, so 2 other finishes, and then another new start, whip go numbers, what I worked on for the whip go, my whip go numbers this month, and I stitched on a total of 8 projects throughout August, so that's pretty good, I think. So let's start with the finishes. The first one is, this was the start and finish. So this is Coastal Fairy Village. And this is by Barbie Tingley, or Tingley, I'm not sure how you say her surname, of Petal Pusher. I'll pop a picture, I'll link her Etsy shop below. And this is, like I said, Coastal Fairy Village. All done. So the light in here today is terrible, as you can see. But it's so pretty, so cute. Really lovely colours. So this is stitched on 32 count Belfast linen in light mocha or mushroom, depends where you buy it from as to which one it's called. And I used a little bit of a mixture. I sort of did a conversion to anchor threads, but some of them were nothing like the DMC, so I went back to the DMC for some of them. So just sort of did a bit of my own thing on that. And I had to stitch that extra piece of fabric on the bottom so that I could get the, well, you can see the lines of the nerd hoop, so I could get it in a nerd hoop to be able to stitch it. And then I think what my plans are for this, I'm just going to make it into a little pillow. There's another design called something Fairy Village. I'll put a picture up because I can't remember the exact name of it that I want to stitch to, which is, I guess, a little bit of a companion piece to this one, really. So I'm hoping to stitch that and make that into a little pillow as well. So I stitched along this one. I also gifted Charlie of Charlie Feathers the chart for this, so we stitched it together. Very pretty. That's one. Next finish is My Stitching Time, and this is by Waxing Moon Designs. So my stitching time is sometimes for your safety, remember that. So I love stitching that. Stitched this with Emma Stitches. Again, I'll link her below. She's on YouTube and Instagram as well. And I did it actually because I liked the colourways that it was done. I just did it as called for. So this is the called for 32 count Murano even weave by Zweigart in Azure Blue. And I used the called for DMC threads. I think it turned out really nicely. Just need to, you'll see in my haul that I did buy a couple of little sort of chopping boards that have almost got like handles. So if you held them upside down, they'd be like a paddle. but they're not really the right size for this. So I need to get one like that, so I can kind of, when my husband's being annoying, I can just hold it up and say, remember. But we'll see. And then the last finish for this month is the Happy Halloween, which is a sal by Historical Sampler Company. They very kindly gifted me the kit. So I got the fabric, threads, and then the patterns were emailed to me every 2 weeks. And there were 4 parts, and I have now finished. That is Happy Halloween. So there's lots of people stitching this. Sherry of Just So Sherry has showed it on her YouTube quite a bit. Are you finished yet, Sherry? She keeps saying that I'm ahead and I'm the one to go. I'm the one to go and look at to see how it's supposed to look and stuff like that. But I don't know if she's finished yet. I haven't watched her latest Flosstube, so don't know if you have, Sherry, but I'm shouting you out. Really, really enjoyed stitching this. It was really kind of Historical Sampler Company to gift this to me. And I, like I say, I loved it. I'll get a little bit of a close-up of some of the bits. Yeah, really, really nice. I just love the colours. The oranges and the greens and the purples just look really good together. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's done. Okay, so that was all the finishes that I had. The new starts, there were 2. One of them was the Coastal Fairy Village, which also then became a finish. The next start was literally started, did I actually start mine on Friday? So this is another gifted stitch along to me from Claire at Love Poppet. So very kindly got in touch with me and said, would I like to join in with her new sale that was coming up for Halloween? Night Riders is the name of it, and it's going to be a 4-part stitch along. And it started on Thursday. That's when we got the first part. So Claire sent me the threads and the fabric that she dyed herself. And I had a choice of Ada or even weave. I chose 32 count even weave. The fabric colour is beautiful. I don't know how it will show on here. Oh, that's actually pretty good. So that's probably pretty good for the fabric colour, to be honest. Maybe a little bit darker, a little bit grayer. But this is my tiny little start on Night Riders. Now, I don't have a picture of this. There's no cover picture even for this one part, so I can't show you what it will look like. But basically, this is the start of a witch, and she's on a broom, and then there's a cat, and then there's sort of like a circle. It looks like it's going to be a circular design of sort of various motifs that sort of make maybe a background. This part is the start of the witch's hat. Now, I put a picture on the Love Poppet Facebook group, and somebody commented and asked if I'd started in the middle, and I said, yeah. She said, oh, my start was the broom. So that then got me thinking, and I went back to the pattern and back to I use Markup RXP. I do have Android devices, so I do have Pattern Keeper as well, but I prefer Markups RXP, so I use that mostly. So this is in there, and I said, oh yeah. And so I went back and looked and checked. And basically, because the pattern is coming in 4 parts, the pattern, if you printed it out, has the center of the 4 parts. So the whole center of the whole design is, you know, say here where the broom is. But because I'd only put the part 1, which is all we've got, into Markup RXP, it had found the center of the part rather than the whole finished design. So yes, I'd started in the center, but not the actual center. So I had done 172 stitches. Well, I really didn't want to be ripping that out and starting all again. So I've done a little bit of working out, and it will be a little bit tight. I think there'll probably be an inch of border on the fabric, but I'm going to go with it. It's not a massive amount out, so it was probably about, I think I did work it out to be, it was going to be about an inch one way widthways and an inch lengthways, so it shouldn't be too bad. There were a good more than 2 inches of extra fabric, so like I say, I think it'll be a little bit tight, but I think it'll be okay. So we're going with it. So the next bit, when I start back, when I work on this again, probably tomorrow, if I get the witch's hat finished, then it comes up to this sort of lacy looking almost border. wherever that will be, and then it comes round. So I'm going to kind of work my way to the top, and then to the side, and see where we're at. But I think it'll be all right. So cross everything for me. Okay, need somewhere to put these. Let's pop it down there. And then that was the only other new start apart from the start and finish new start. So then the next things that I've worked on this month were my 2 Whip Go numbers. So if you've been here before or you follow my Instagram, you know that for Whip Go for me is I work on the project for 2 weekday evenings and 1 weekend day. So Thursday, Friday evening and Saturday. So a day can sometimes mean a whole day of stitching if we're not out and about, busy doing other things, or it could just be a few hours. It just depends really, but I know that there's a high chance there'll be more stitching on a weekend day than a weekday evening. And the numbers were 12 and 15, I think. So my first one was the Country Cottage. I call it Country Cottage Sampler, but they've just called it Country Cottage, which is by Moira Blackburn, and it's kitted by Bothy Threads. So that's what it will look like. The kit came with, I think it was 14 count Ada, 16 count parchment coloured Ada. I swapped that out for a cream Belfast, so I got linen, 32 count. So I'm using the kit threads, but like I say, just swapped out that fabric. So I have to pop a picture in here of what it looked like before I started working on it for Whip Go. I might need the board for this actually. And this is where it is now. So yeah, quite pleased really. So I already had quite a lot of this done. So for the Whip Go for August, I put in the man here completely, and I bought the border was done to the edge and maybe this little bit here. So I brought down the sort of flowers inside the border and the line on there's 2 lines on the outside there. It's so pretty. That house was already stitched. I'd stitched that when I first started it, and it just looks amazing. But yeah, so quite pleased with what it's a paper pattern, so I don't know how many actual stitches I got done, but I was happy with that. And my other Whip Go call was for Reaching Skyward, which was fairly recently worked on for Whip Go as well. So I put my 12 oldest projects on my Whip Go board twice. So Reaching Skyward has been called once. So this was its second call. So technically it won't get worked on now, not via Whip Go anyway, for now. So there are kind of 2 designs for Reaching Skyward. This is by Modern Folk Embroidery. So this was the main design that Jacob released. But he also did a second design where the motifs are slightly different. So if you can kind of look, if I do a bit of a half and half, you can see that the fireplace bits at the top, as I call them, are a little bit different. There's swans on one and deer on the other and so on, and the trees in the middle and the motifs. So you could kind of totally do one whole design or the other, or you could mix and match. We got more than, so there's 2 different designs in the center circle, but I think we got 4 or 5 of those different designs that we can pick to do in the center. So I am basically going with a lot of the motifs from the main design, but I have swapped out little things. So for example, I've done these columns, the inside of those columns, I've done from the other design. I have done the deer, but I've done this top bit is different on mine. So yeah, I've just kind of mixed and matched with the bits that I liked the best. I basically took this front cover piece, printed it out and drew on it all over with highlighter as to which bits I wanted and which bits I didn't, sort of thing. So when I worked on it last time and on my last Flosstube when I talked about this, I did say that I am actually only doing part of it. So I'm going to work down to here, that sort of top bit, and then I'm going to bring down these side borders, mimic that top border across and up the side, and then finish it sort of the top third really, I guess. I really like the design, but I don't know if I want to stitch the whole thing. So I thought, well, actually, you know what? That's my favourite part, is the top part. So that's what I'm going to do. So here is where it's at now. So for Whip Go so far was literally Thursday, Friday and yesterday, and I managed to get in all of this sort of fire surround bit here in the sort of caramel colour, and then the blue line, and then all of this blue filling, which creates this I'm sure it's called a CC work, where the design shows up because you don't stitch it. It's the background fabric. So if I can manage to, if I show you this separately. So I've chosen the design from the alternative pattern. Make it a bit easy. So I'm doing this bit, so it will be the two birds in there, but you stitch all the blue, and basically the picture, as it were, comes out as being the background. Some people say it's called negative stitching. I've heard that term used as well. But it is really effective. You have to concentrate, but it's coming together nicely. So technically, my last day for working on this for Whip Go was yesterday, but because that's sort of not quite half done, but half filled in, I'm going to continue today and hopefully try and get that bit done before I put it away, because I just think that'd be a nice stopping point for now. So that's Reaching Skyward. Oh, I should say it's on 32 count Zweigart Belfast linen in platinum, one of my favourite linen colours. And I'm using two DMC colours, 924 and 3045, which were the called for, as it were. The Jacob had stitched it in those two colours, but obviously you can choose your own two colours or one or whatever you want. There's lots of different colourways out there, different people doing different things. And that's that one. So that's Whip Go for August. That was that complete. So then also this month I worked on a couple of other things. I went away, which I'll talk a bit more about at the end. I went away for a few days to stay with my son and daughter-in-law. My husband Aaron was over in the Isle of Man. So I thought, well, I'm not staying at home on my own. I'm going to go and do a bit of stitching with Bethany and visit my son and her and yeah, have a few days away. So while I was away, I did do a tiny weeny little bit on Seaside Tiny Town. So this is Seaside Tiny Town by Heart in Hand, and that's what it will look like. Obviously, I'm sure you're all aware there's lots of different tiny towns, Blooming Tiny Town, Halloween, there's lots. Some of them I really like, some of them I'm not so keen on. There are a couple of others I have my eye on, but I don't have the patterns for at the moment. So this is in the Q-Snap, so I'll have to pop in a picture of where the whole thing was, but I popped it back in the Q-Snap, and I'd already done this pink house, so literally I did the blue roof. I mean, it's pitiful, really. And this is on, so I got 32 count Belfast linen in, oh, beautiful beige. Now I've done a real old mix and match with threads. I've just literally picked my own. It's actually charted for mostly classic colourworks and a couple of weeks dye works, but there is a DMC conversion. But I've just literally picked threads from Anchor, DMC, just whatever I thought roughly matched the cover photo basically, and just went with it. So the new addition to this is this lovely needle minder. This is by Laura of Cotton and Clay, and I'll link her shop below. She also has a YouTube channel as well, and she is also Butterfly Stitches, I want to say 83, hope that's not wrong, Laura, over on Instagram as well. I'll link all that below. She made this little needle minder because Love Poppet has a Patreon, and one of her, I'm not sure whether it was last month now, were the designs was this amazing little octopus, and there was a few people doing a stitch along stitching him, one of them being Laura. I didn't join in with this, I've just got so much else going on, but I do love him. And Laura designed this little needle minder to match. So even though I wasn't doing the stitch along, I was like, I need myself one of those. So I thought I'd put him on Seaside Tiny Town. The needle minders are great. The needles really stick to them. Yeah, they're always really lovely. So happy with that. So that's Seaside Tiny Town. And then the other project I worked on, which I haven't worked on since January when I started it, is Saga by Long Dog Samplers. So it will look like this. and it is Saga, which is Stories Amidst Graceful Arches. This was my New Year, New Start, and I started at the top left, up there, but didn't get very far. So it's obviously, I'm doing mine on 32 count fabric, so obviously it is huge because the stitch count is 389 wide by 504 stitches high. So it's a big one. And I like 32 count, so it's, you know, it's big. So I've got it in a 17-inch by 11-inch Q-snap. So Q-snaps are my preferred frame to use when stitching. I don't mind an urge hoop if the whole design will fit within the hoop. I don't want to put it over my stitches, if that makes sense. So I've got this in a 17 by 11 Q-snap, and I have a Lowry stand with the corner with the side clamp, and it just wouldn't hold it. It just keeps falling out because the weight of the fabric, obviously I've started top left, so all the fabric is over on the other side, and it just wouldn't hold it. It just kept falling out, and I can't hold it with one hand and stitch with one hand. I just felt I just couldn't stitch on it, and I kept saying to my husband, oh, I need a corner clamp, I need a corner clamp. And then Bethany got herself a corner clamp, so she said, well, when you come, bring Saga and you can try my corner clamp, and then you know, then get yourself one. In the meantime, I'd had an alert. I put in a thing on eBay. If you've searched for something, you can put in an email alert, you know, email me when there's one of these for sale. So I'd done that with corner clamp. And what came up on that alert was Lowry stand with corner clamp. So I went into it, and it was Lowry stand, no height adjusting pin, but still the L bar and the base and the stem and everything. And it came with just the corner clamp, no side clamp, and a magnetic board holder. And it was being sold by a charity, I think a hospice in Leeds, via their eBay shop. So I went into it, and it was starting price, and it was at the beginning of the auction, and it was £9.99. And I thought, well, obviously it's not going to sell for £9.99. So I kept my eye on it and kept my eye on it, kept my eye on it. Anyway, it didn't go up very high, and in the end I managed to get it for a very, very good price. So I now have a corner clamp, and that's made it perfectly able to now stitch. It holds, I can't believe it just holds this giant Q-snap with all this weight of fabric on it, absolutely no problem at all. So I did quite a bit on it at when I was down at my son and Bethany's, and I won't be able to show, I'll have to hide my face to show you closer up. But basically I've got all of that done. I'd literally got, I'll pop in a picture of where it was, but it was the very top of the arch, and a line down the side in the darker pink, and a line along the bottom. So I've basically done all this pillar here, all the infilling bit inside the arch top there, all this bottom bit, and then all the lighter pink inside. And I have really, really loved working on it. Really loved it. And like I say, the corner clamp just holds this perfectly fine. You can see all this massive bundle of fabric here, and it's a really stiff fabric. It's on a permin linen, which is always very, very stiff and crunchy, but the colour was just perfect. So this is 32 count permin or witchelt linen, and the colour is pink sand. Let me just bring this in for you to see a bit closer. I don't know if I was going to need the board behind there. Let me see if you can see that. It's so pretty. And I'm using 2 shades of DMC. Oh, these are put in here as well. See on here. Just 2 shades of pink that I particularly like. And they are 3685 and 3687. So 3685 is the darker one, and 3687 is the slightly lighter one. I just thought they went really well together, and they look really good on that fabric too. So I'm really pleased to get some good progress on there. I mean, it's still going to be a while. It's still a big one. still a lot of arches to go, but yeah, at least now I feel like I can work on it whenever I like. So that's all the whips and all the finishes and starts for August. So I was quite happy with my progress there. Worked on quite a few different things. So yeah. Okay, let's move on to, I don't know, I've got happy mail, I've got haul, I've got plans, and I've got a bit of a life update. I'll do the life stuff at the end because not everybody's interested in what what I get up to day to day, or when I go and visit my kids. Not very interesting. I have got a few little plans and that incorporate some of my hauls. So let's do haul. Oh, I should say the next Whip Go numbers probably first. So the next Whip Go numbers for September are number 4 and number 11. And for me, this is number 4. If you can see that. Not very well, let me just open it up. So this is Romeo and Juliet by, well, it's the main design name is Gira. I think her name is Kyoko Maruka. I'm probably butchering that and I do apologise. It's such a lovely design, and I've done it on the called for orangey coloured fabric as well. So that'll be my Whip Go for number 4, and my number 11 is to work again on these. Both of these are being called for a second time round. Nessie Mitchell, 1929 by Mama Loves UGB. And again, if you've been here before, I've already stitched this once for my maternal grandmother, and instead of putting the vowels in there, I put in my grandmother and Nessie Mitchell's details. I put in my grandmother's details, and now this one is being that I'm stitching on now is for my paternal grandmother, and I'm doing it exactly the same, taking that out and putting her details in. So yeah, so I'll show you those next time. Okay, so bits of haul, or lots of haul. These I'll show you the ordinary haul, as it were. I've got some Happy Mail, and I've got some haul that I'm going to use for finishing, so I'll show you how I'm going to use those as well. So let's do Happy Mail. Happy Mail came from my lovely friend Charlie Feathers. This beautiful card. I love me a sheep, so, and she knows, so that is just perfect. If you fold out the card, look, the rest of him is there. So I did think actually I might look up the designer and see if they've got prints, or, because isn't it just gorgeous? So a lovely card with a lovely note inside, and with that she sent me this beautiful notebook. Look at that little hedgehog. Really, really sweet. Perfect for putting in your handbag, really. It's got little lined pages with the little leaf design at the bottom. And I thought, yeah, perfect for just sticking in your handbag for making any notes wherever you go. Really lovely. And then she also got me this little, well, it says it's a badge. It was a badge. She's changed it into a needle minder for me. How kind is that? So for those of you who don't know, my husband and I run our own business. We make, so we've got an engineering business, and we make parts for the bicycle industry, the bespoke bicycle industry. If you're having a bicycle frame made, components that you need to add various bits and bobs to your frame, we make. And our company is got Bear in the title, and my husband's nickname is Bear. So a bear on a bike is just right up my street. And it's got a cute bunny in the basket. So what's not to love? So thank you. I've already thanked Charlie, obviously, but thank you so much, Charlie. It was really, really nice. So other things I got in haul, other needle minders. I went back to Laura at Cotton and Clay for Rubber Ducky needle minder. So there's a stitch along starting tomorrow for, I'll pop a picture in because I haven't got the cover photo here, for Quacker, which is a Quaker style design but with ducks on, by Mikael at Star Parade Designs. Now I did talk about this last time, and I did pronounce his name incorrectly, so I do apologise. It is Mikael, and they're doing, there's various ladies, Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows, and Caroline from Caroline Stitch Corner, and various others who were all on the same table together at Stitch in London, are going to stitch the Quacker as a quack-along. And so Laura designed these lovely rubber duck needle minders. Now, rubber ducks are a bit of a theme in my life because my son, who is not 8 years old, he's 25, has a stack of, there's loads of them behind me, of little rubber ducks, like so, that you can buy in the hundreds from Amazon, or, and when he comes to visit, after he's been, you will find these in various random places, maybe in your shoes, maybe in the fridge. Literally, I've found them all over, and there's probably some still hidden that I haven't actually found yet. So it's always been a bit of a thing. So I love a rubber duck. So this was just great. And I am going to do the quack along, but I am I'm not sure whether I'm going to start tomorrow or not, because I've still got quite a lot going on. But I love that. I bought more than one because I just couldn't resist. So that was Laura Cotton and Clay. And then I also bought these needle minders from Don't Step on Your Needle. Again, I'll link all of these shops below. I got 3 little needle minders, a little pot of tulips, a pot of daffodils, and a gorgeous little pumpkin for autumn. And they're really good. They these ones have got almost like a little ledge with the bottom of the, I'm saying all that and I'm showing it down here where you can't see. So the sort of where the flowers end in the pot, there's a little ledge almost there, and the needle just goes in there perfect, and they're really strong magnets. So yeah, highly recommend those. And then I don't even know what I was looking for on eBay. Sometimes you're just on eBay, aren't you? And then you're looking for something and then something else crops up, and then yeah, you see something and you buy it. So this happened. So this is a little tin, a little heart-shaped tin, and there were 2 of them. I'll pop a picture in because I took them with me to when I went to see Morgan and Bethany, and asked Bethany if she would like one, and she chose one, and I kept the other. And basically these had chocolates in, so they were pralines apparently, according to the back. And the person that was, I mean, they're in perfect condition, both the tins, and the person that was selling them hadn't taken the sort of bits out from inside. So it came with that sort of cover that you get on in boxes of chocolates, and then also all the holes that had the plastic tray that had all the chocolates in. It's all been cleaned, and that's all removable. And I was just going to chuck those bits away and then see which tin Bethany wanted. And I thought, actually, maybe we could use them as they are for buttons or beads or whatever. So I left them in. So we'll see what I end up using that for. But it's very cute. Then I also got some fabrics. This is from Wiggly, or West Green Loft Yarns. Let me take that out of the paper. Let's see if we can get that to... It's a gorgeous sort of almost caramelly, very light caramelly colour. It's called, is it just August? So it was the August Fabric Club, which I'm not in, called Nut Butter. This is a fat 1/8, and it was basically a second because it has a tiny little dot there. Now, when I opened it out, it is kind of in the middle of the fabric, but I thought, you know what, that's either going to get stitched over, or I'm going to use this fabric for a small thing there and a small thing there and a small thing there. So not bothered by that at all. It's absolutely beautiful fabric. It feels lovely. So I can't wait to be stitching on that. Then I also got some vintage country mocha. So I'm going to stitch in London this year, weekend 1. If anybody else is going, let me know. It'd be nice to meet you. And Yasmin of Yasmin's Made with Love is the guest designer. She's designed some lovely charts for Stitch in London that we could for anybody that's going can pre-order. So I was right on it. They're so nice. If I can find pictures and it's okay to, I'll pop them up. And the models that she stitched were stitched on 40 count vintage country mocha. Now that's not for me. A 32 is my go-to. But I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do it on linen or even weave. And also, they're often slightly different colours when you get... So they're both vintage country mocha, but because they're on different types of fabric, the colourway, it does come out a little bit different. So I've ordered one of each. I'm just going to take them out of these packets, sorry. So I ordered the 32 count Murano and the 32 count Belfast linen. So this is the Murano. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen vintage country mocha before. And this is the linen. Now you can see quite a big difference there, and there is quite a big difference between them. So it's just seeing, then I can pop the threads on and see what what I think at the time. The models are stitched in using Roxy Floss Co threads, which we could also pre-order, so I did. Just 2 colours. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to get those bits of fabric ready to go so that I can have a start at Stitch in London. And then the only other piece of fabric I bought was another Permin linen. Again, I'll pop a picture in here. I'm going to be starting a Nora Corbett or Mirabilia design that's only just come out, called something so pretty. I'll have to pop it on the screen, the actual name. I can't remember. And I saw it. I don't even know how I saw it, but I saw it and I was like, that I am stitching that. So I happened to, I've got a group chat with Kim of Stitchy Squirrels and Charlie of Charlie Feathers. And sometimes we pop things on there for each other. Say, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen that? So, and we've been talking about doing a Mirabilia or Nora Corbett stitch along. We were going to start at the beginning of this year and we never got round to it because we've all got too many whips. So I said, well, how about we do it? And Charlie has a special birthday next year. So we said, right, we'll start for her birthday on our Mirabilias or Nora Corbetts. So I'm going to do the one that I've just said that I can't remember the full name of, which I'm going to pop on there and a picture. And the called for fabric is Permin Linen, 32 count Prairie Grain. And that is probably perfect. That, just exactly how it looks. So I've got the chart and embellishment pack that comes with all the beads and so on order from Lakeside Needlecraft. That's not here yet. And I ordered the fabric from Arts and Designs, and that came like next day. Their shipping is so fast. Yeah, perfect. And then I just need to either get out or order the DMC that I need. And I think there is one silk. I'm not overly keen on using silk thread, but I think it needs it in this, so I just need to get, and there's only one, so I thought, right, okay, I'm just going to get that one and the DMCs, and then I'll be ready. I mean, we're not starting till January, so I'm getting quite ahead of myself, but I was so desperate to just get hold of it all because I just really love it. So that's all the main haul. These other haul bits are for finishing that I thought would be a good idea. She says, clattering them. So when I was down in Bedfordshire at my son and daughter-in-law's, Morgan and Bethany's house, pops into, they have in the town, they have a B&M store, which is sort of a, what's the word? I guess it's, I don't want to say cheap, that sounds really awful. It's a budget store where you can buy things at a lower cost than perhaps any in other places. And they do some great frames, actually. I was looking at some of their frames and I thought I do need to find a B&M here and actually go in and have a look when I've got stuff to frame, because there's such reasonable prices, but they've got some really beautiful frames. But what I actually bought was some wooden finishing pieces. Well, they're not finishing pieces, but they are now. So this one is a wooden soap dish. Did I bring up the... No, I think that was about £4, something like that. Maybe £2. I can't remember, but it was less than £5. It's about 4 inches across, but it's slightly, can you see it's got a slight sort of dipped edge, so you can mount something and then pop it on there. That was that one. I also got this one. This one might have been £4. I don't think anything was over £5, to be honest. So it's just like a little tray, very similar. Got the sort of recess there, again, just to mount something on. Haven't got anything as such planned for those yet. Got this larger round one. I can't remember what this was called. Oh, I have got the thing here. So the soap dish was £2.50. The wooden tray was £4, and this one was £4, and this is just another circular one. It's about 7 inches across. It's got sort of, they both, I didn't show you the other one, but they've got like little, well, they're not really felt, but they're soft feet, so that once you've set it down on something, it's not going to damage. Or you could get an easel or something. I mean, it's not, it would be okay on a big enough easel, but it's heavy enough that actually on a small one it probably would tip off, to be fair. So this one, I am going to get a round piece of mount board and I am going to pop this finish on it. So I've showed these in my Flosstube Extra, if you've watched that, in my finish parade. And these are some beautiful roses. These are stitched from a Cross Stitcher magazine, but I have no idea what issue it was. This is a finish from many years ago. I think it is an even weave fabric. It's probably a 27 count Linda, or at least a 28 count. I doubt it's 32 from that far back. But I have measured it, and it will be difficult for you guys to see because obviously it's not wrangled around it. But it will fit in there nicely once I've got a nice piece of mount board from which I'm going to order from Lisa at Atelier Frames. She does great framing. She's cut me mount board before for various projects that I've finished, so that's going to go on there. So that gets something else out of the big pile of finishes actually finished. And then I also got a pack of 2 mini acacia wood surfboards. It says it was in this packaging, £5 for 2 of them, and they look like this. It's almost like a paddle style, which is, like I said, I wanted for my stitching time, but because these are more rectangular than square, they weren't quite right. So you can see they've got different sort of colours on the wood, and then you can hang them or stand them. You could do them sideways. It doesn't matter. You could do what you like with them. You can use them as an actual chopping board if you want. So I got those. I'm going to put this on one of them, which is Strawberry House, which I think is Little House Needleworks, if I remember rightly. And then on the other one, I'm going to put Darling Starling, which is by Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. So I've measured all those out, and I'll get in touch with Lisa and get her to hopefully cut me some mount board and send it to me, and then I can mount those up and get them fully finished. So I was really happy with that. I've seen other people, I think it was Be Creative, is it? I can't remember her name. I'll link her below. She's got a floss tube, and it was her floss tube that I watched where I found the soap dish. She'd done a finish on one of the soap dish, and I thought, oh, I love that idea. So that's what took me then into B&M to look for the soap dish. And then once you're in there and you see all these other things, you're in, and you before you know it, you've spent more money than you intended. However, like I say, they were just such reasonable prices. I mean, you know, 5, 13, 15, so 15.50, something like that, you know, for all of those pieces to finish on. So I mean, the little tray, the sort of rectangular tray, Lisa would be able to cut me a piece of mount board, because if you watched my previous frost tube, she cut me a piece that was a similar shape to go on the top of a tin. But you could just use that almost as a little dough ball. I mean, it hasn't got very high sides, but if you just wanted to lie things down, it would work well enough just as it is for that. And I guess, you know, you don't have to stick, if you're going to leave them flat, you don't have to stick those things down. So you could change them out for other designs. If you just mount your finish onto some mount board, so say this one, then you could finish it onto the board without it being glued on, maybe with magnets, or like for these ones, if you were going to do those, if you're going to lie it flat anyway, then it's not going to fall out. So then you could put different things in. You could do something seasonal or monthly. I just thought they were a really nice idea for some different types of finishes rather than just framing. And then the other thing, I already had this little box. So I got this little box on a Facebook Marketplace Destash locally. So it's not painted or coloured in any way, but it's got a lovely little clasp. It's got a clear Perspex lid, and it opens up. So you can store what you like inside. And I just thought it was a really sweet little box. Somebody was giving it away. So I took it. Now again, in my finish parade, I showed you all of these, which were the, I can't remember what they're called, designs. I'll pop it on the screen. So they're seasonal. So basically you've got spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And that size, they're all the same size, fits in that space. So again, I'm going to order some mount board from my lovely friend Lisa, and then I can swap them out seasonally on the top of the box. So that's something else that's going to be in the finishing works. All these plans just need like 10 more hours in a day, I think, to get them all done. Okay, so that's Happy Mail and haul. Not too bad. and a few plans there as well. Other plans are to continue with my whip go, so the 2 numbers for September that I talked about. I also need to make my smalls exchange piece for Stitching London. So they have a smalls exchange. I don't think there's a theme. You can opt in, or you don't have to do it. But I quite like doing them, so I thought, right, I need to get that stitched up, which obviously I've only got a month to do that. I've got another retreat coming up as well. So at the very end of September, I'm going to Wales, near Brecon Beacons. There's a lady on Facebook, I'll try and link the page below, Vivian, who organises week away retreats. So she basically rents a holiday let house, and we all chip in. So if it was £1,000 and there was 1,000 of us, it'd be £1 each, that kind of thing. So we share the costs of the house, and then we share the cooking, and then after that it's up to you. So you can sit in that house for a week and stitch all day every day, or you can go out and see the sites nearby. You can, sometimes a couple of us have gone out and done things nearby, and a couple have stayed at home or whatever. It can be up to six, 7, 8 people if it's a big enough house. So looking forward to that. I did realise last month that I'd completely double booked myself. So that week ends, so it's Friday to Friday, and it ends on the Friday that I am going to Stitch in London. So I just had this realisation that it was overlapping. So I will be coming back from Wales a day early so that I can reorganise myself to then get on a train to go to London. So yeah, that was a moment. I just thought, oh my goodness, what have I done? But it'll work out fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, looking forward to that. Like I said, the only new start that I might join in with is the Quacker. I really want to stitch the design, but I don't know if I could. It's not massive, but it's not a small, so I'm not sure if I really want to start that tomorrow when I've already got enough going on. To be fair, we'll see. Well, you'll see next month, won't you? Or on my Instagram if you keep up with that. I think that's everything apart from a bit of a life update. And then I have also got some projects that I'm thinking of destashing and selling. So I was going to mention them briefly on here, and then anybody that may or may not be interested could get in touch with me if they wanted to. I will probably post them either on Instagram or one of the Facebook pages, which I can let you know about. Just a couple of things that I know I'm not going to stitch, but they are pretty much, well, a couple of them bar fabric are fully kitted, and one of them is fully kitted. So there's quite a lot. It's all done, and there's a Nora Corbett and a Bella Filipina. So there's a lot of money involved with that, and I just thought, actually, I'm never going to stitch them. Why not sell them on to somebody who will stitch them? And all they've got to do is add their own choice of fabric to it. So I'll talk about that a bit at the very end, because people may not be interested in that. A little bit of a life update, like I said briefly. My husband Darren had gone to the Isle of Man for the Manx Grand Prix with his cousin. His cousin was already there. He was going to go on his motorbike, but found out that you need a full license, and you can't ride on a UK or an English CBT license, which is, I don't really know how to describe it, because it's not a provisional, but you have to do it every 2 years if you don't take the full license. So you can just keep doing it every 2 years. His plan was to do, or is to do, the full license, but he thought, well, at least I've got that under my belt, I can go. Found out literally a couple of months before that wasn't going to be an option. So he actually went on his bicycle. I'll put a picture up here of what his bike looked like when he left here. So he loaded it all up with everything he needed for a week, basically. Tent, sleeping bag, the lot. You won't believe it when you see it, but it was all on there. I took him to the train station at Buxton, dropped him off, and he caught trains and then the ferry over to the Isle of Man, and stayed there for a week and came back. Yeah, so he had a great time. Like I say, I went down to stay in Bedfordshire with our son Morgan and daughter-in-law Bethany. Bethany's a stitcher, so that was really nice to have a bit of stitchy time with her and do some stuff. I did do some stuff with Morgan as well. We played Mario Kart. When I say we played Mario Kart, what I mean is the 3 of us played Mario Kart, but they kind of played it, and I just kept falling off the edge of whatever world we were in, whatever track. Like games like that are just computer games. Yeah, not really been a big part of my life, so not great at that. But it was fun. We had a really fun evening doing that, so that was really nice. I went out for a day, have lunch with friends that I haven't seen for a while. visited some family, and we visited my auntie and uncle. So yeah, so I had a really nice few days away, and I've just remembered, because I can see them over there, that I was supposed to bring something over, and now I might not be able to get out of here, but let's give it a whirl, because I'm not pausing it, because I don't know I don't know how to make it all go together if I pause it. So let me move these, and then I'm going to literally grab 2 beautiful project bags that my lovely daughter-in-law Bethany made. One sec, please bear with, I'm so sorry. I know, very unprofessional, but I don't know how to make the videos go together, so sorry about that. Bethany had bought some new bits of fabric and some various bits of vinyl, and she'd been showing me on video chats and so on, and I said, oh, I love that, I love that. So she literally very kindly made me this amazing project bag. Let me show you the fabric. So it's BB-8 from Star Wars. And then inside, it's got these beautiful stars, clear vinyl front, and it's big enough to hold an 11 by 11 Q-snap, which is probably my go-to. I absolutely love it. Look at it. It's perfect. So she made that for me. And then she also said she'd make me another one, and I had some bright pink fabric, just plain hot pink fabric that I'd got in a pack of fat quarters. So I took that down because she made me this project bag. So all the different Disney characters and words, and then put my hot pink fabric as a lining, but the vinyl, I hope it's going to show properly. Look at that vinyl. They're all the Disney ears. Oh my goodness. This is a slightly smaller than the other one, but it still will hold an 11-inch Q-snap, and I also love this. So obviously I've thanked Bethany, but Bethany, they're just amazing. Thank you. So that's that, apart from the bits that I'm going to sell. So if you're leaving now, then fine, I will see you next time. If not, I have this little pile here, if I can grab it quickly. So I want to sell Bella Filipina, the poison apple, which is the chart here. Now I have opened this, but only to see what supplies you needed. It's not being used at all. And in this bag is the full embellishment pack, all the Krynic, and all the DMC. So literally for that, all you need is a piece of fabric, and that's fully kitted. So I have that one. I have a Nora Corbett, is she a fairy? Pixie, Sweet Pea. Again, the seal has been broken. I have opened it, but it's not being used. And in the bag for that is the full embellishment pack, Krynic, and the 1 Karen Water Lilies that you need for that, silk thread. No fabric, no DMC. Then I also have this Nora Corbett. Oh, did I not undo this zip? Sorry. Which is Moon Glow, which I was going to start this year, but it's just not for me now. So this is Moon Glow by Nora Corbett. Is it the cord for fabric 32 count? Doesn't say. I'm sure the cord for fabric was 32 count. So basically, this is fully kitted. So in here there is the full embellishment pack, all the beads and treasures and so on. There is, no, it's not fully kitted. Mostly fully kitted with all the good stuff. So the embellishment pack, all the Karen Water Lily silks, I think there's 6 of those, and the cord for fabric, which is Permin Linen 32 count Mediterranean Sea. Now that I did take out of the packaging, and it has been serged around the edge on my sewing machine. Other than that, it is unused, but there are no DMC in there, so you would need to get the DMC for that. And then the last one is the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. Now this is completely fully kitted. So the fabric is 32 count linen by Picture This Plus, called Shale, which is the called for. And this is a big piece. It's 36 inches by 54 inches. So it's bigger than a fat quarter. It's huge. And then I got all of the threads. And me being the panicker that I can be, thought if I only get one of each, because there's a lot of Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colour Works or Gentle Arts, and I thought, me being me, if I run out of one of the threads, you're never going to get a match, are you? So I thought, well, I'll get two. So literally this is fully kitted with that huge piece of fabric and two of every DMC and two of every Weeks or Gentle Arts or whatever the fancy floss is. So 2 skeins of every floss, the chart. There is also a copy of the chart because I'd made a working copy, but not used it. So there's a working copy, the original chart, 2 of every thread, and a big piece of fabric. So if anybody is interested in any of those, then do give me a shout. If I don't hear from anybody, then I will, I'll just pop them on Instagram or Facebook. I will put my email address below. You can email me, or you can pop over to Instagram and message me on there. Right, that really is it now. I've shown you everything, I think. I'm sure there'll be things I've forgotten. There is, I can see something from here. I'll show you next time. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing if you already have. If you haven't subscribed and you've liked what you've seen today, please think about subscribing. It means a lot to me. I'm at 800 and something subscribers. It would be nice to get to that magic 1000, have a little giveaway, do something special. Yeah, so thank you, and thank you for all your comments. I have lots of comments and I read them all, and I do try and reply to everyone. But if I have missed you, then do message me and say, oh yeah, I've commented and you've not replied. But as far as I'm aware, I have. And let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see. So I did the finish, showed you all my finishes in a Flosstube Extra a couple of weeks ago. But if there's anything else you'd like to see from me that's a bit different, then do let me know. And that's it. So I'll see you next time, everyone. Happy stitching. Bye.